What is the significance of the latest head coaching news?
Well, first of all, as you just said, hiring Mike McDaniels, that's certainly a step in the right direction. But let me say this and be perfectly clear with this. We're already seeing what Coach Flores put in place last week starting to take effect. You cannot tell me that all of those owners did not, or somebody didn't kind of send a note, a message or something saying, whoa, this looks bad. And when I hear about Houston that was about to hire Josh McCown, I do a radio show in Houston. I said, what? Are you serious? With all of this going on right now, and you're going to hire a guy with no NFL head coaching experience, a white guy, Josh McCown, with all these African-American coaches out here that are way qualified, man, that would be, it would erupt in the NFL. So I'm sure people got a hold, or people talked, people sent message. I don't know how they send the message. Maybe they just floated through the ether, but those guys got it, and that's why you're seeing Lovie Smith's name starting to get mentioned now. I know they talk about McCown also working with them, and maybe they'll grow that situation or have him in waiting, but it's absolutely seeing Flores, what he put in place just a couple of days ago, starting to have an effect right now.
I'm not sure about that. It remains to be seen. We'll see whether or not that's really truly the case. It could be all lip service for all we know. Nick Caserio, the general manager for the Houston Texans, brings David Culley in there, knows that he does not have Deshaun Watson as his quarterback. On top of it all, you really didn't make any moves to buffer the roster. Then somehow, some way, you fire David Culley after one season when, in fact, you should have fired yourself. And so for me, when I look at it from that perspective, the fact that he didn't fire himself and the fact that he's allowed to make another hire is egregious in and of itself, because you haven't shown you deserve the qualifications or you deserve the opportunity to make such a decision. That's number one. Number two, when we look at Mike McDaniels, we wish him nothing but the best. What did you say? He's mixed? Is that what you said, Molly?
Multiracial is how he identifies.
That's how he identifies himself, multiracial.
Yeah, multiracial.
Okay, fine. No problem. This was a conversation last week about black men not getting jobs in the National Football League as head coaches. That's what, you can be multiracial, that's fine.
His father's black.
That's fine. I understand.
His father's black.
I understand that. I'm not knocking him. I wish him nothing but the best. I wish him nothing but the best. And he's been a coordinator in the National Football League. Good luck to him. Okay? What I'm saying is the conversation last week pertaining to the Brian Flores situation is the scarcity of black men who have been given opportunities to be head coaches in the National Football League. The Rooney Rule was implemented in 2003. At the time it was implemented, there were 3 black head coaches. It is now 2022, and it's 1. And the NFL owners signed off on the implementation of the Rooney Rule. Dan Rooney, listen, God bless his soul and everything, and we understand what the Rooney family means to the game of football. But you have current ownership with the Pittsburgh Steelers in Mr. Rooney that is on the diversity committee. John Mara is the owner of the New York Giants. He's on the diversity committee. And in the 100-year history of the National Football League, 100 years plus, the New York Giants are one of 6 teams that have never hired a black coach. But you're on the diversity committee. This is a problem. And so we see this mountains of evidence that you can point to where you have people associated with the National Football League that are famous for giving lip service. And now when noise is made about Josh McCown, here comes Lovie Smith. No disrespect. I love Lovie. Appreciate the fact that he was an African-American as a head coach for the Chicago Bears that guided them to a 13-3 record in 2005 and took them to a Super Bowl against the Indianapolis Colts, where Peyton Manning ultimately won his first Super Bowl against playing for Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy beat Lovie Smith in that Super Bowl. Lovie Smith, from that point forward, hasn't had raving success. Last time we saw him in that National Football League playmaker, he was 6-10 as the head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was a year after winning just 2 games. Right. They went 2-14. Okay? So am I excited about the hire? No. Am I happy for him if he gets it? Yeah. But here's what really resonates with me. All of this Lovie Smith noise has come about because noise was being made, as you appropriately brought up, Michael Irvin, Josh McCown. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh McCown was an NFL player who was never coached on any level in the national, at all, in any position for the National Football League.
Period.
Didn't even coach in college. Now, I made noise when Cliff Kingsbury, who never coached on the NFL level, was given the job for the Arizona Cardinals. Okay? Because even though he didn't have success at Texas Tech, you know, bottom line is he was a college football coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh McCown is just as much of a candidate as Lovie Smith or anybody else out there coaching.
Absolutely right.
High school.
That's the problem.
That ain't an insult to black coaches everywhere. What the hell is?
Right.
So in the end, what it comes down to is the National Football League, they put out, you know, their memo. I'm not holding them accountable because I know that they have done a lot to address this situation. It's about the 30 owners because Kim Pagula for the Buffalo Bills, Asian American, she's an owner in Buffalo, and obviously Shad Khan, Pakistani American, he's an owner in Jacksonville. The other 30 owners are white. So what we really, really need to bring up is the need for black ownership. There's been plenty of black folks out there with some money that don't want to be parts of groups so they can have an ownership stake, a significant ownership stake in the National Football League. That's what we need to be addressing because the NFL owners themselves have proven they cannot be trusted. They cannot be trusted, and they're not going to change because they don't have to, because people are going to watch football and they're going to still pour money into the NFL's coffers, and those owners are going to get paid, and that's all they care about. They cannot be trusted. Real change is going to come about when we diversify ownership, period. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.